everyone. It's not often that I report on prison hunger strikes in Iran. But for 88 days, this is exactly what has been going on now because the Iranian regime is killing political prisoners at a record rate. These are people who are standing up to the Iranian regime. They are people hungry for freedom, and they are being killed. Get the numbers here. 871 political prisoners killed in Iran in just the first 6 months of 2025. 190 people were executed in just the last month. So now, as you can imagine, people hungry for freedom in Iran are beside themselves as protests are springing up everywhere as we have hundreds of political prisoners still yet to be executed. This is a woman by the name Ilham Sajahadin. I believe she's Iranian. She's an activist, and she spoke to the United Nations.
Over 50 political prisoners are currently facing death sentences on various charges. Many of their lawyers have repeatedly stated that their clients were sentenced to death in unfair judicial proceedings that failed to meet fair trial standards.
I will tell you, folks, I have a lot of Iranian friends, and they come to America, and they embrace freedom. They love it here, and they don't have it there, that's for sure. I want to bring in now the political director of the organization Iranian American Communities. Dr. Majid Sadeghpour is with us. Doctor, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
All right, please tell me the situation. How dire is it, and is there anything that can be done about it?
Well, the situation in Iran is dire for the people of Iran, for sure. You mentioned some of the executions. Since last August, north of 1,800 people have been executed by the regime in Iran. The reality in the streets of Iran is that the people of Iran have been subject to a war imposed on them by the regime 46 years ago. And they unfortunately have had to battle against this regime for 46 years. And the carnage that you quoted, and I also quoted, is indicative of a population that is trying to overthrow this regime and get it killed at the highest per capita rate in the world. Iran executes in excess of 70% of all people that are put to death on Earth. We're a country that only has 1% of the global population. The good news is that the people of Iran are fighting this brutal regime and are intending to overthrow it. What is the answer? The answer, to your point, is that they need our political and moral support. They do not need weapons. They don't need money. But there is a need in the streets of Iran and their resistance that the international community part ways with perpetual engagement with this regime in Iran, because engagement is what the regime is hoping for and looking for so that it can prolong its life. The reality on the outside of Iran is that, just about 3 weeks ago, tens of thousands of Iranians took to the streets of Brussels. And again, just last week, thousands of us were in New York outside the UN expressing support for the 10-point plan as outlined by Mrs. Mariam Rajavi, the president-elect of the National Council of Resistance of Iran, because truly there is an alternative to the status quo.
So I want everyone at home to realize that this matters because the world would be a safer place with this regime gone. I'm not saying the United States needs to go in and do some kind of regime change deal with the United States getting involved. But if the people of Iran could rise up against this makes the United States a safer place. One of the ways I think you crush Iran is by cutting off its ability to make money, and you still have Iranian oil on the black market being sold. They're making a fortune off of this oil, and this allows them to survive. Is that correct, Doctor?
That is correct. More than 80% of the Iranian population lives below the poverty line, while the regime is increasing its income through sale of oil illegally. And of course, it has other kind of clandestine trafficking of humans and drugs that it raises money through. But choking the regime's income means choking the power of the IRGC, the Revolutionary Guards, that are responsible not only for killing and the persecution of the people of Iran that we spoke about earlier, but also for spreading the regime's terrorism arms across the Middle East and beyond, and of course the nuclear weapons project. So yes, choking its power through the banking system, through the snapback mechanisms that the UN has just begun, is really, these are important steps, and we applaud the administration for making sure they hold them accountable.
Dr. Sadeghpour, one last question for you. So when you talk about the Iranian people wanting freedom in that country, is there a percentage of people that would like to see a regime change? Is it more than 50%? Is it close to 100%? What is a legitimate number of the people who would like to see this current regime out?
Right. I think it's north of 90%. I think it is closer to 100%. Yes, there is a segment that is very close to the regime, benefits from the perversion of Iran's resources. But majority of the Iranian people are fighting to overthrow this regime, and they have an organized resistance. They have an organized and qualified leadership in Mrs. Rajavi, and they have the structure and the resistance units inside Iran to carry out that change. But the international community must back them politically. That is what is necessary at this point.
Yeah. Well, if you're telling me that they're killing 1,800 people in just a few short months, and you got 871 in the first half of 20, this is why it's very difficult for you to get the people to rise up. They're scared for their lives, as well they should be. And so I hope something comes of this. People need freedom there if they want it. And I certainly hope they get it. I pray for those people who long for freedom, and I pray for the prisoners that are now facing execution. Dr. Majid Sadeghpour, I appreciate you coming on the program today. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.